I've said it before and I'll say it again. Sometimes I'm the bug and sometimes I'm the windshield. So here in North Carolina for the past 2 weeks, this is the kind of weather that we have actually had. Crazy. Rain, cold. Ever since Casper's come home, it's been raining. So today I thought I would do a little update of Casper to show you where it's at. And yeah, let's take a look. The first thing on the agenda is talking about the exhaust. In my last video about Casper, I showed you what my plans were, but this here gives a better illustration. All of this is stainless with the exception of this. I could not find a 3.5 inch to 3 inch flare reducer in stainless. So you can see how the reducer fits onto the piece of pipe from the headers, the collector there. So I've got to weld that up, which I picked up a really cool welder off of Amazon, and whenever it dries up a little bit you'll see me using it. But yeah, when it dries up, I'm a huge fan of these band type clamps here for the exhaust. They work really well. You can get them in stepped configurations like this right here, or just straight. That's for 3 inch to 3 inch. And the beauty of it is you don't have to get it from Summit or Jegs. You go straight down to the Napa store, and this is the part number 733-5978. That's for 3 inch, and it's stainless. Works really good. So if you're putting an exhaust together and you don't want to weld it all up, this is a good alternative. You can see how I have the 3 inch cutout right here, where just a simple 3-bolt flange plate bolts on the end to close it off. The pipe that's going to turn it back inside the frame rail, and then the bits and pieces are over there to connect it to my existing mufflers. I know it's a work in progress, but that's where it's at. Next thing we need to talk about is throttle linkage is connected with dual throttle return springs. I'm going to have to rewire all of this because initially this had the Mallory ignition in it, and so I'm going to go through and redo all of it, because the new ignition system from Progression Ignition just uses 4 wires: power, ground, trigger wire to the coil, and then that's your tack wire. So pretty simple hookup. The other day I actually got a few hours of dryness, and I came out here and I plumbed the fuel system on the carburetors. You know, the whole look of this engine is really important to me, making it look old school, somewhat period correct if I can, you know what I mean? I didn't want to run stainless braided lines because 1971, that was not a thing really. I mean, the fuel cars had it, but most normal cars, no. This is actually a braided hose, PushLok type deal that still uses AN style fittings, but I think it just really, you know, combines the look of old and new school together. Now this here, this is a Holley 4-port regulator that was originally designed for ProStock use in the mid 1970s. It is a 12-707 is the part number, I do believe. I'll put a picture of it so you can see it. Got my fuel pressure gauge there, but I thought that that regulator just kind of fits with the look of the build. Yeah, it's coming along slowly but surely, but it is what it is out here in the rain. Next obstacle I'm going to have is the alternator setup here. With these massive Hemi heads, the alternator spacer that goes in here is going to be a little bit different. This is what was on it before with a traditional style Windsor head. I'm just going to have to cut this down and get my pulley alignment perfect, because this pulley and the water pump pulley was dead on perfect, and you've seen that in the dyno videos. Now it's just getting it lined up with that. No serpentine set up here because they didn't have serpentine pulleys in 1971. Just saying. So some other things that needs to be addressed is the wiring over here. After doing some deep dives, yeah, that's just a fire waiting to happen right there. So I'm gonna have to redo a lot of the wiring out here, because I'm not gonna let this burn to the ground. Still have to get my heater hoses connected to the evac tubes down on the header. And I spoke to the guy at Jet Hot Coating, waiting on him to get back with me again so we can set up a time for me to bring my headers up for him to do his coating magic. And I think he's going to let me do a video of a plant tour up there, which would be really cool. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plans out. I fooled around, got the throttle linkage perfect where it's getting closed throttle and wide open throttle with a pedal. It returns back like it should. So man, I'm getting excited. There's just something about a tunnel ram with Dominators and this engine, it just does it for me. Let's talk a little bit more about this exhaust here. I also want to do some chassis dyno testing once it's running, to do a dyno test with it running through the exhaust of the truck and then uncap it to see the difference in power. And then the reason why I'm not welding all of this up is because, like I said before, I'm wanting to put a termination box in the pipe there that DV has been preaching about for years. And I've never done one, so I'm looking forward to doing that and doing a dyno test to see the benefits of it. What does a termination box do? Well, here's a picture of what it actually looks like. And basically what it does is it kills the signal of the reflective wave at that point, making it think the engine doesn't see the rest of the exhaust connected, because it turns it into a free flow type deal. So it will be very interesting to see the effect of putting a terminator box in the pipe and doing a dyno test on that. So that's what I love doing, is tinkering, finding new ways to get power, unconventional ways to get power. That's what I'm all about. Well, if I can get a few minutes where it's not, it's drizzling right now, but if I could get a few minutes to get this thing ironed out, I want to get that exhaust put on ASAP to get it all lined up and how I want it, in case when the time comes to take the headers off, the exhaust will be finished, and then when I get the headers back, then it'll be just bolt them on and go. But I still have a good bit of work just putting one foot in front of the other, coming out here when it's cold, wet, nasty. That's how things get done. So until next time, this is Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. I'll catch you later.